Welcome to your Tuesday edition of FreightWaves Now. I got Donny Gilbert here back again talking to the brokers out there. But first off, let's talk to Nick Austin and see what's going on with the weather.
Welcome to FreightWaves Weather, your Tuesday edition. I'm FreightWaves meteorologist Nick Austin. Appreciate you joining us today. We do have plenty of weather to talk about that could disrupt, especially local and regional supply chains out there, and just give drivers headaches on some interstates and lots of other roads. So we'll start in the Northeast and New England, where it's going to be snowy and even icy today. This is mainly from northeastern New York State, the Adirondack region, all the way up through interior portions of New England and into Maine, including parts of the I-95 corridor in Maine. Yesterday it started to rain a bit. It turned to freezing rain, icy conditions for interior parts of the Northeast. Now it's all changing to snow, so there's going to be a few inches of snow on top of anywhere from a glaze to 1/10 of an inch of ice. So really bad conditions for driving out there. It's not going to be too windy, not a lot of heavy snow, but any snow over any amount of ice just makes for really bad driving. Again, these are mainly small freight markets, but local regional supply chains, there will be problems here. Now, moving out west, there's going to be bigger problems with snowfall, especially from later tonight all the way through the daytime on Thursday. So plan ahead for this one. This is going to be about a 2-day event from the central and southern Rockies of Utah, New Mexico, Colorado, all the way up into parts of Wyoming. Some areas could get 1 to 2 feet of snow, maybe even up to about 30 inches of snow in some of the highest elevations of the central and southern Rockies, parts of Colorado and Utah especially, which may affect portions of I-70, maybe a few spots along I-25. And again, that's going to be from late tonight through Thursday, so I'll have to plan for that. Going to be a lot of bad roads with the snowfall. Again, this isn't unusual for this time of the year actually, but it's the first big snowstorm of the season for parts of the Rockies. And this is going to cause a lot of problems and a lot of delays trying to head through that region. Now, a different story for the lower elevations, especially the desert southwest, Phoenix, Yuma, Tucson, parts of I-10, I-40, up into parts of New Mexico and also into southwestern Utah. It's more of a heavy rain and a possible flash flooding issue with the same storm. So during the same time period from later today through Thursday, we could see some areas of heavy rain and maybe some roadblocks because of some lane closures on some interstates from the flash flooding. That's again from Arizona up into parts of southwestern Utah. And even in Arizona around Flagstaff, some of that heavy snow might spread into that area as well. But the heaviest stuff is going to be in Utah and Colorado, I think, as far as the snow. Lastly, we're going to talk about, again, the flash flooding here for the southwest. Flash flood watches right now across almost all of Arizona, especially the Phoenix, Yuma, and Tucson areas rather, and then up into, again, parts of southwestern Utah. So this could also affect portions of I-40, again, portions of I-10 and Interstate 8 as well. That's what you need to know about the weather for your Tuesday. Appreciate you watching. Make sure to check out all of our FreightWaves videos on our YouTube channel. Have a great day and be careful out there.
Welcome to your Tuesday Carrier Update, sponsored by PowerFleet. My name is Kyle Cunningham. Thanks so much for tuning in today. The good news just keeps getting better as the outbound tender volume index for the USA continues to climb back up. Now we still remain over last year's volume levels, which is fantastic, and we can see that the push up actually started faster than it did last year. So currently 98.02, getting back towards that 10,000 baseline for the outbound tender volume. Looking very good. So let's take a look going forward and see what's happening out across the country. Taking a look at a head haul map here. As a reminder, the blue zones are going to be more favorable for carriers, where the red zones more favorable for shippers and brokers. Today, if you find yourself in Atlanta, you've got options around. So Greenville, Chattanooga, Savannah, Tifton. Don't settle for what's going on in Atlanta. Make sure you look on Sonar and look on those boards and see what's going on out there. Greenville is going to be your best bet. Let's take a look at some specific markets and see what's happening. Las Vegas, Nevada, the inbounds up a little bit, the outbounds inbounds up a little bit as well. More inbound than outbound, but a high number on outbound rejections. 9.62 on outbound rejected contracted freight. Let's take a look at some lanes and see what's going to happen coming out of Vegas. Heading out of Vegas, if you're going to Stockton, $1.37 on the median for the mileage rate today. For the total rate with the line haul, that's going to be $7.20. So another new feature inside of 5.0. A beautiful ability to see the FreightWaves scientific rate estimates. Taking a look here, you can see some lanes in and out of Vegas. You're going to see Vegas down to Southern California around 6% rejections. Let's move over and take a look. Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Outbound volume above inbound by a few points, both trending down, but outbound tender rejects for Cape Girardeau, 10.33. Let's look at some lanes out of there. Cape Girardeau to Bloomington, Indiana, if you're running that one today, $1.73 a mile, getting closer to $2 a mile. Make sure you get what you deserve. On the high side, $1.88. Out of Cape Girardeau, you can see down to Jefferson City, 10%, a perfect balance between carriers, shippers, and brokers. Thanks so much for watching your carrier update today, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
The comprehensive logistics offerings from PowerFleet cover in-cab ELD, fleet management, trailer tracking, cargo monitoring, and tracking other assets such as chassis and intermodal containers. Power up your operations with PowerFleet.
Now I'm joined by Donny Gilbert, the original brokerage update market expert. Let's talk about what's going on. What do you got for us today?
Last week, Kyle, we're up in Chicago.
Yep.
It was cold.
That's right.
Chilling cold.
That's
I
right.
think you got down to about 13 degrees.
That's where it was at.
Which brings up the protect from freeze again.
That's how it goes.
It's that time of year. And you got to realize, here, last year I was running a load from Arkansas to Indianapolis, and it was great. Drive in, there was nothing wrong. But then I realized somewhere right past Memphis, in between the Memphis and the Nashville area, during the night it was going to get down below freezing. And that's where a lot of brokers can get into trouble, is they don't follow the weather all the way throughout the route of what the way the driver is going to be driving. And at nighttime it can get really cold. And that case can cause the freight to freeze, and then becomes a claim issue. So here, this is the time of year to really be going ahead and checking out. And this is going to drive up reefer volumes and the demand for reefers. So here today I've brought our outbound reefer volume so far for the nation. Here we're up to over 1,500. Now, of course, we do have Thanksgiving coming up, so we have some of the holidays coming up, the food being shipped. So these are more volumes, but also just keep in mind when you get in the colder areas with the colder weather, it's also going to be bumping up the reefer volumes. And when the reefer volumes increase, it's going to start bumping up our outbound tender rejection rates. So here our outbound tender rejection rates have moved up to just over 15%. So here I get excited when they get around 10%, we're at 15.33%. So that's letting us know that spot market rates on a national average right now are well above the contracted rates. So we're having volumes increase, and we've got reefer outbound tender rejection rates increasing, which is putting upward pressure on the market right now. Of course, you still have some areas like the Northeast that, getting the reefers out of there are having some issues. So be sure and double check in, really investigate the market you're looking into. What I really wanted to look into today, though, was Salt Lake City. I've seen some interesting stuff going on with reefers in Salt Lake City. This is our reefer outbound tender lead times, and they've moved up over 4 days.
That's a long time.
And you can see here this long climb of the tender lead times. The tender lead time represents the reaction to the market from shippers, from a shipper's point of view. So it's important to kind of look and see what they're seeing when we're trying to figure out what's going on with spot market rates. So when tender lead times are pushed out or expanded, that literally means that they're having issues with movement capacity. So when capacity starts getting tighter, they start booking their loads sooner to ensure that their load's getting picked up. So that's why we see this going up over 4 days. Now, when we look at the volumes and the tender rejection rates, we have volumes that have climbed up to 83.91 index points. So here we have volumes increasing, and we've also had our outbound tender rejection rate. They have been increasing. They've actually dipped down yesterday, but they're still at over 25%. And 25% is, extremely elevated right now. So here, around 75% of the loads are being accepted, only 75% of the loads are being accepted, and 25% are being rejected. And that lets us know that in the Salt Lake region right now, we're still having an issue with rates that are being pushed up in the Salt Lake region. So if you're a shipper, you're going to be paying more. Brokers, this is the time that you can jump in there and start booking these loads and start pushing your bids up. Now here, we do know that a lot of these reefers from, last month were actually going to Salt Lake City and then moving up into Idaho and Washington trying to get those potatoes and apples.
Right.
So right now they're still elevated, and there is some weather, not exactly in the Salt Lake area, but we know south of Salt Lake there's still some snowstorms that are coming through. So that can also still bump up the volumes for reefers.
Thanks so much, Donny. A fantastic perspective yet again from Donny Gilbert. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and follow us on all our social media channels, whether that's Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, and we will see you again tomorrow. Take care.